It's okay. I think we're live.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. Chrissy here, Real World Witness. I am here with my two soul sisters, Delphine, aka Lady D, and our Sarah Ashley. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Good. Yeah. Feeling blessed.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot to be thankful for. Okay, first, before we get started, I have to do a shout out to Carrie K. Hi, Carrie. Hey, listen, I've got the necklace on. Thank you so much for sending me all the stuff. She sent me a whole bunch of crystals and so many things. I can't even bracelets and this necklace. And
yep, I got mine on too.
You got yours on. See, now you need one, Sarah. Then we'll be like three and triple.
Like power, boom, like that.
Power, boom. I know, right? There you go. That's the Empower Hour for you, right? So Carrie, thank you so much. I really did appreciate that. It was so sweet of you to send that to me. She sent it for my birthday, so it was just I was so moved, honestly. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet of her to do that. So thank you very much, Carrie. Okay, and I also wanted to mention, so
she didn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
No, she was asking what stone, and I said she didn't hear you. She was asking what stone was your necklace.
Oh, this? I think it's a pyrite, isn't it? It's the blue one.
Blue, it probably is lapis. It looks like lapis.
Oh, lapis?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. It is lapis.
And this is amethyst because I'm a Pisces.
Oh,
that's my birthstone.
Yeah.
This is my,
Yeah, lapis is what they use in a lot of the Egyptian jewelry. I know that for a fact.
It also opens your third eye. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's very cool. So I just want to mention about my book just briefly. I just wanted to tell everybody. So this is what's going on with that. Basically, I have, I think, 5 hardback books left of the first edition. I'm not printing any more hardback books because it's too expensive, and it's whatever. When I get the second book printed, then I'll reprint the first book again. So that'll be like a second edition. But if you guys want the book, you go to my website. The link is all in the description. I put all of our links in the description. I put Soul Therapy with Lady D and Sarah Ashley and Light Warrior Network, and also Soldier of Light, because he's coming back on Friday, which was the other thing that I wanted to mention. So I guess it's Friday is with Double J and Sarah. And Sarah, you're going to be first, right? I think you come on first.
I believe so. I'll be first.
Yeah, so she's coming on first. And then Lady D, she's taking the Sunday edition with Jason, right? Just Jason, correct?
Yep. Because Soldier wanted to watch his sports.
Oh. Hey, man, isn't that too much 3D? I'm just saying. Just kidding. You got to like football, I guess. It is football season. So, I mean, it's Seahawks.
He's a Sagittarius. He likes sports. Give him a break.
That's right. He's
right.
A true soldier. He likes his competition in the fight. He's a fighter. He's a soldier.
That's exactly. Well, I'll give him a little break. However, it depends on what football team he likes, because if it's against the Seahawks, I don't know. Anyway, Seahawks are huge out in my area. It's crazy. I mean, I don't particularly pay attention to it, to be honest with you. I only watch the Super Bowl at like the last 4th quarter, because then you don't have to watch the whole thing, and you could just say, okay, are they going to win or not? Who's winning? Anyway, that's my football thing. So anyway, so that is Friday at 5:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be Jason and Sarah and Jason Ramirez, and then at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Jason and Lady D. So, okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, so today we were going to talk about, and I have to look at my notes because I can't even, November to Remember. So, so there's a lot of stuff going on. Hey, Gypsy Mama. Hey, girl. Yvonne. I love that, too.
We did a show. We typed a show with Gypsy Mama earlier that's going to be on Chrissy's channel Thursday night at 8, right?
Yes, thank you very much. I almost forgot to say that.
I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, it's really good. We had a great conversation, and she's such a beautiful person, and we love her. So thank you for coming on the show, Gypsy Mama. Anyway, we're going to talk about November to Remember, and there's so much that's going to happen this month, and really things are heating up. So I guess let's start. I'm going to start with Sara, because you've got all your astrological stuff, which I don't, you've been talking about stuff on your YouTube channel, and which has been fantastic. So if you guys want to kind of start, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So this month, this week, at the beginning of this week, everything seems very smooth and peaceful. But by the time Friday comes around, we're going to be starting to feel a little bit differently, because the sun in Scorpio is going to oppose Uranus. And also Moon and Mars are also going to oppose Uranus and Taurus, and Uranus is in a retrograde right now. So Uranus is the unexpected. It's just expect the unexpected. And Taurus is all about the financial system, also our food supply, anything that's natural, oil supply, anything that comes up from the ground, that's rooted in the ground. So Uranus ingressed into Taurus around late 2020, and that's when we started having a lot of disruptions in our food supply as a result of the pandemic. There was people who were working and that kind of thing. And then there was inflation, and home prices went way, way, way up, and the interest rates, and just people are having trouble affording just basic needs at this point. So there's just a lot of unexpected shifts with currency in general. So when Mars is the planet of war, and it's exalted in Scorpio. So Scorpio is very sneaky. It waits a long time. It doesn't just do like an attack out of the blue. That's more like an Aries thing. Like, hey, I'm angry and I'm going to attack you, and it's going to be like full force. It's like Aries is like the street fighter, Mars and Aries, but Mars and Scorpio is that person who's just gonna like live with you, like remember that movie Donnie Brasco, like how he was like an undercover agent.
Yes.
And then, he I think he killed them at the end. I don't quite remember everything that happened at the end, but it's like, they're gonna turn on you when you least expect it. So there's going to be something that's going to happen along the lines of a very violent type of incident that's going to lead to a downfall in our currency system later this week. Now, we can't be afraid, because number one, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Because it's written in the stars. It's fate. You can't outrun destiny. But how we handle it is up to us. I was telling the ladies before we went on air that I feel like a lot of people are going to unalive themselves. I use that word because if you use the S or K word on YouTube or TikTok, they like automatically take off your channel. So I'm just going to say unalive. I feel like a lot of people are going to unalive themselves, because just like during the Great Depression, which was, almost 100 years ago now, people did that. They're like, wow, like everything up in smoke. I don't know what I'm going to do. So this is just going to be I feel like there's going to be a lot of tragedy in the next couple weeks, especially this weekend. And we all need to stay grounded in God and rooted in, the Holy Spirit, if you will, because why we're here is, it's not just a material journey. It's more of a spiritual journey. And everything that we're seeing now in the 3D, it's spiritual warfare, like as above, so below. Everything that's going on up there is indicative of what's going on down here, right? It's a mirror. It's a mirror image. So we all have to really be grateful for what we have and not focus on what we don't have, and think about what the large scale plan is. It's like so many of us have been hoping for this false matrix, this 3D to be shattered, to dissolve for many, many years. Okay. We all have woken up at different times. Most of us have woken up in the past 10 years. I woke up around 2013 when the Ebola started happening. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I was like, there's something wrong here, because I remember when Obama wouldn't stop the flights. At first, I was like, why isn't he stopping the flights? Something is wrong here. I feel like they're trying to have some kind of like infiltration here on purpose. Like it's intentional, so that they control us and, have a vaccine, so that you have like a vaccine pass. And all that happened, you know, in 2020, 2021, 2022 with COVID. So we're seeing the like complete, just how spirit shows it to me. It's a dissolving. It's like a dissolving of this old world into this new world. And that is Pluto in Capricorn is last degrees. It's in a retrograde. I've said this many times on all these shows, including my own channel. It's just taking like a huge giant baseball bat to all these old institutions that really aren't serving humanity. And Pluto in Aquarius is about the human revolution. It's not about AI. That's the very dark force of it, right?
Yeah.
It's about leaning into something that's anti-human. It's about our humanness and our togetherness and how we can all be better together. If we're on the same page, we have to be on the same team. So right now we're seeing like a holy war in the Holy Land. And I feel like that's all planned. It's all intentional. But we have to remember that God always triumphs. It doesn't matter what Satan's plans are. God will always triumph. And we have to stay really grounded in that and not fall into this hate and not fall into this anger and this rage. Because if we're on that lower vibration, we're going to be in the lower vibrational timeline and we're not going to make it, really. And I hate saying that because it sounds so freaking severe that we're not going to make it. But psychologically, what they're doing to us right now, the media, the mainstream media, this spiritual warfare that they're doing to us. And I see some spiritual creators doing this on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube too. They're a part of it. They have been infiltrated by the mainstream media to make you afraid, to make you try to be upset in one person or one group and have this us versus them dynamic. And there is no us versus them. There is the cabal, which is a very, 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 very small group of people. Okay. And everybody else they use is puppets. Even people who you see are like famous, like actors, they really don't have very much power. They're just pawns. Actors, singers, entertainers are just pawns. They don't have that kind of money that the cabal has. They're just pawns for the cabal. So people of millions of dollars, yes, they're very wealthy, but it's very different when you're a billionaire or a trillionaire. You know, it's completely different, the leverage you have over somebody. So we're definitely seeing this dissolvement and it's going to be beautiful what's next, but we just have to relax and release our fear. It's so important this weekend during this new moon to release this fear. And it almost is going to feel like a full moon. It's almost going to feel like an eclipse. And I know we just went through this eclipse cycle and it was terrible for my mental health. It was terrible for so many people's mental health.
For sure.
It was so psychologically draining. I felt like I was definitely spiritually attacked. I was definitely spiritually attacked during this time. It was awful. Like I haven't felt that bad in my whole 39 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awful. So letting go of any kind of attachments, you know, doing your cleansing, you know, praying together with your family is so important right now so that you and your spouse or you and your family are all on the same page. The people who live in your house, even if you just have roommates, are on the same page with you, you know, so that you can move on to the next chapter and not be stuck. And it's like a bondage. Spirit's telling me right now, God's telling me it's a bondage because what this whole false matrix is that's designed by the cabal, which is, you know, they're doing the work of Satan, is bondage. And we need to release ourselves from that bondage.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. I mean, I think the biggest thing is that the reason that we keep saying, you know, to stay grounded in this time frame is because, and to look to God is because when the chaos happens, like you're saying, which is supposed to happen, you know, this week and the next couple of weeks here, you can have solace, you can have some kind of peace, and that you know who you are, you know, you're okay, you're going to be okay. You know, you can kind of look towards your future in a way that's different than like everybody else is going to be freaking out. Oh my God. You know what I mean? And then you can also help your family members and help your friends that are like, they're not where we are. I mean, my family's nowhere where, you know, we're in my line of thinking at all. So I agree with what you said. I mean, I think it's the most important thing, really. And I also believe, you know, the reason that we have our channels is to get people to be in that mindset. You know, we are on the front lines in the spiritual war, in the sense of, you know, we're willing to like come out here and say, hey, listen, this is what you guys, it's not like we're trying to tell you what to do, but just kind of guide. We're guiding, you know, we're kind of like, hey, what about this? What about that? And, you know, you just have to go with what resonates with you during this time frame. So, but I agree with you 1,000% what's going to happen. I mean, it's going to be very interesting the next couple of weeks, and you feel it in the air. I mean, I feel it in the air. You know, that something's about to break is how I feel.
Definitely. And there's just going to be a lot of lies spread because towards the end of the month, we have a lot of mutable squares. So mutable planets, those are in the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces. Those are going to be the main mutable squares. And that's really going to create this whole like exaggeration, because when Mercury's in Sagittarius, and I don't mean to offend anybody with Mercury in Sagittarius, it is in its detriment because it's not really seeking the reality that it needs. It's very future thinking at best, but at worst, it's an exaggerator. And when you have that square to Saturn, and we're going to have Mars and Sag also squaring Saturn, which is, you know, responsibility and boundaries, I feel like a lot of people are going to be breaking their word and breaking their oaths and breaking their contracts, karmic contracts, spiritual contracts, and physical contracts with each other, because they're getting caught up in these lies, getting caught up in the illusion. So really try once again. And I just looked in my, was looking at my piece of paper, the notes I wrote down. Also Mercury squaring Neptune too. Yes. So Sagittarius, Mercury and Sag squaring Neptune. It's just very carried away by illusion. And we really have to understand like what's truth and what's not, and get out in reality. Like, go to the grocery store. Don't just get, you know, whatever you get, like Instacart or whatever. Like, start interacting with your community, even just on small levels like that, like going to the store and, you know, getting our hair done or whatever. Because if you're trapped inside your house and you're just on like YouTube all the time, you're going to start to think that the world is something very different than it is, because that's the picture that these dark forces are trying to paint.
Right. Yep, exactly. Well, Delphine, what do you say about all that?
Honey, you're not syncing up. I hate to say it. You're not syncing up.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in a minute then.
Okay. She's going to go to the fifth dimension and back. I love it how we pay. You're going to go to the fifth dimension and back. Okay.
All right.
Don't you love it? We pay so much money for internet and cable, and
I know.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. I think people are just, I do think that even people in our community are still way identified with their egos, even though they don't even know it. And we're going to be tested. First of all, we have to be willing to give up something for this. If we really want to level up, if we really want to go to 5D and have a better Earth, we have to be willing to give up that which does not serve us anymore. We can't have it both ways. And there's going to be growing pains and bumps. You know, we have to have the tower moment card, right? The tower moment.
Absolutely.
There she is.
Is that better?
It looks
much better.
Okay, good. Sorry. So Joey wants to make his debut. He's just crawling in my lap. I know. He's so funny. Listen, honey, you got to get down, baby, because I got to do this show. He's like, I don't care about your show.
Anyway. They don't give a shit about anything.
I know. All right. So what were you saying? Sorry, Delphine. Go ahead.
I was just saying to Sara that if we really want to level up, if we really want to get to where we need to be, if we want to be our higher selves and get to 5D, we need to be willing to give up these earthly possessions, give up this 3D. And a lot of us are still stuck in that three, they're not willing to give up. We have to be willing to go through short-term pain for long-term gain. And if we really want to get there, that means that if everything falls, it's a good thing. But Sarah's right. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that still so we know that we're not 3D meat suits, that we don't get our worth from our jobs, our bank accounts, our who we are. Like, I don't get as a tarot reader or as a daughter or as a mother or as a teacher, as a counselor, whatever. We are not that. And I feel it's going to be really hard, like you said, Sarah, to people to not identify with those roles, those ego identifying roles that we have in 3 and 4D. We have to give it up. And like you said, people are not going to be able to give up the money, the security, because that's all you identified with. What do you have?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's going to really be a test.
Well, the other thing, too, is, I mean, think about it. The problem is that they've kept us in this matrix, this 3D matrix, thinking that this is all there is. I mean, there's such a bigger world out there. Other there's multiverse. I mean, there's dimensions. There's other places. There's galaxies. There is space travel. There is so many things, and they keep us kind of boxed in and in fear, like you were saying, fear. You can't let fear guide your reactions to whatever. I mean, my mom, I'll tell you, she did call me the other day, and she was freaking out over, there's like all these terrorist cells here in all over in the United States. Well, you know what? It's not a newsflash for me, because in 2019, I did a show with somebody else, and I mean, we did an investigation, and I mean, they've been doing that. There's probably 7 or 8 different countries that are coming in from the southern border. They're all young. But I mean, you can't live in fear and not move forward. You know what I mean? You have to sort of understand that that's the situation. And if that happens, how are you going to act? And what do? You prepare mentally. The psyops that are going on right now. I mean, the way I'm at right now is like, okay, if I don't know somebody with boots on the ground in this location, you know what I mean? Then I'm just like, we don't even know if it's real or not.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole thing is like an illusion almost, to keep us in fear and freaking out. And yes, I do believe that, they're going to crack, the whole banking system's going down. I mean, that stuff, yes, is going to happen. It is happening. It has been happening. But it's kind of like, and like I was telling Delphine and Sarah earlier before we came on, I was saying, I used to just be constantly, I mean, video to video to video. I mean, I'm talking, for me, from 2015, I was just absorbing everything, and then the Q thing came up and all this stuff, and I was such an angry person, because I would always get so frustrated. I'm like, what the hell? Especially after when Trump lost and that whole thing happened. And so I think the reason that I'm harping on, we need to like not pay so much attention to 3D that you are mired in it, and just kind of, look to God and find your peace within yourself, because we have a lot of power within. And I think it's about finding that within you to sustain yourself during the tumultuous times. And what do you guys say about that?
I agree. Well, I think we don't have to really pay attention to anything that really doesn't involve us. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but if it's not really involving us, we pray for everybody, because we know we're not getting the truth. We can't believe half of what's on television. It's all a narrative. Right. So what we can do is just pray. When we work on ourselves, we work on the collective. And if we are leveling up, that means that we have to be willing to change our mind frames. And our mind frames are not going to be in this dimension. We're not going to be worrying about these things. Right now we're in that. And again, to do the tarot, we're in the world card, that awkward phase between ending one phase of life, right? And beginning another one. So we're in this awkward phase. We're in the very top level of 4D. We're almost at 5D. However, what's happening now is that the Tower card's happening, and it hasn't even hasn't even begun yet. It's just started. The
Right.
power card just turned over. So everything has to crash and burn. Okay, what happens during a fire? It's not pleasant, right? You
Right.
lose stuff. It's scary, but everything has to crash and burn. So I think we're all isolating for a reason. I think that most of us are pretty much detached to 4D. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone really believes
I mean,
anything that we see on television anymore.
no. And I mean, seriously, like, okay, and I don't want to, I'm just putting this out here. It's not that I want to die tonight. I'm just saying, if in fact, God forbid, you know what I'm saying? I mean, would I be sad to leave like my friends? Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. But would I be excited, you know, to be entering a new era of my evolution? Yes. It's, and, you know, would I miss my cat? Yes. I mean, that's an attachment, but they'll come to me eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that you just kind of have to put your mindset is like, and also getting rid of some of the things that, like Sara, you were saying earlier, you know, getting rid of the ruminations that go on in our minds and our ego mind. That is a huge, huge thing. And I mean, listen, like I said, the last 2 weeks, I've been going through like all these things where I'm remembering things and I'm not, you know, remembering my past, some of my things, you know, from growing up and things that I hadn't remembered for years and years. And I think too, it's also to make peace with everything. You have to make peace with everything that has happened in your life, good, bad, or the ugly, you know? And I think that that's another phase of this, because then that helps you to be like, okay, I can now leave that behind in 3D and I'm going into 5D. I'm there, you know, I'm already there in my head, and whatever happens is going to be okay. And that's sort of kind of how I've been looking at it, especially the last 2 weeks. It's been very strange 2 weeks for me. I don't know how it's been for you ladies. I know you guys were talking about it earlier, but what do you think, Sara? What are your thoughts?
It's that eclipse. That eclipse season was so rocky for everybody. And because we closed that 2-year cycle of North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio, and we really had to get rid of our fears and go really delve deep down, so deep into our trauma and our past and our triggers. And it was excruciating. It was absolutely excruciating for so many people. And we have to remember that Taurus is the root chakra. So a lot of us felt like literally uprooted because I think a lot of things that were consistent in our lives are no longer there. It's like, what do you rely on? You have to rely on God. You have to rely on trust and say, okay, this is the ebb and flow of life. And the best thing to remember is like, this is a temporary situation. So stop getting so caught up in the now. And like my friend was saying today on her forecast about resilience. And this is to teach us resilience because so much is going to go on in the near future where we're going to have to build that resilience. And so many people who have been asleep, right? They're going to have to learn to build resilience because there's so many people who've just had everything just handed to them. You know, I think the people who are most awake are the people who are the most traumatized, to be honest with you, or at least cognizant of their trauma. But the people who sleep, they're in this hypnosis right now. So they actually are just as traumatized, but they're not willing to acknowledge it. I was listening to Roseanne with, I forgot what Kathy O'Brien. Do you guys know who Kathy O'Brien is? Yeah. So Kathy O'Brien, she was in this family that was part of MK Ultra in the CIA and like Masonics, and they enslaved her. It did mind program, mind control. And this white hat in the government found her, and he rescued her from being exterminated because they were just going to kill her at 30. They were just going to do away with her at 30, which is just awful.
My God.
I definitely recommend everybody watch the interview. It's not graphic at all. It's just very informative. But so many of us are asleep. Not the people watching this, of course, but so many of us humans are asleep right now because we've endured that same MK Ultra programming, just not at that one-on-one level. It's this collective level, and it's infiltrated our subconscious and also our consciousness, and we're not even aware of how deep it is. So that eclipse season, I feel like so many of us were releasing that programming. It's difficult to know like what's next, because we all feel like there's something else that's coming. And we don't know how to process that new energy. So we're just going to have to trust.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Delphine, what do you think?
We do have to trust, and we have to let go of the old programming. We have to really think with our right brain, which is our higher self. Right now, our ego is dying, and we shouldn't make ego our enemy. It served us well.
Yes.
However, we're not going to get through this thinking with our left egoic brain.
Right.
That part of our brain, which we love, and it served us well, and it's not going to go completely away, because, you know, still, if somebody's going to be running after us, the ego is going to give us the fight of, you know, the fight or flight. However, it's that's going to slowly close up, and we're not going to need that. So we're basically where we need to be. It's just that we just have to keep our eye on the prize, eye on God, connected. And it's really, really hard if we go out in public. So we're going to be tested with a lot of things. We're going to be tested when we go out in public, because I feel that the worse it gets, people are going to be crazier. I feel we're going to have people are going to be even worse than they were during the pandemic, right?
Which is like, I'm already a nervous wreck with some of these people. Like, I can't stand it now. And then to think of it's going to be, but you know, you have to give people grace too. You know, we have to remember that.
Right. But it's true. Like the whole thing with the war, it's all division. You know, they want us to hate, you know, they hate each other and this and that's, we have to stop with the division within the community, there's one common enemy. It's good against evil. It's us against the elites. That's it. Us against the cabal, the Khazarian mafia, the Illuminati, whatever. It's God and good against Satan, evil. It's real time Star Wars. And when people, the people that aren't awake, when they find out that their reality is not what it is, when they find out that everything that they hold near and dear, they're going to think about that. That's not going to be an easy pill for people to take. So that's why we are going to be here. We're going to help these people. That's why we know first, and plus because we've done this before. We've all reincarnated to do this, and that's why we're awake and they're not. Because thinking about it, you should have realized this a long time ago. I was thinking, why is it that we're awake and they're not? And it's like, you've been saying for like a year, Delphine, that we're 5D, you know, that we're it's like, we've been here before. You know, it's like light dawns on Marblehead. Just like, shit, Delphine, that should have been really friggin' obvious from the get-go, right? But whatever.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny, but it's true. It's like, you know, you just kind of be like, well, instead of like focusing on shaking them, because that's what sort of I was at least. I mean, the last 6 months I'm better now, but you just want to shake people and go, will you just wake up to the reality of everything? Can't you see through this? Can't you see through the footage? Can't you see through what these news people are doing? You know,
I don't care. I really don't give a fuck if people care or not anymore.
That's where I was 6 months ago, and now I'm just like, whatever, you know. I mean, it is what it is, and you know, and you know, and people are so, and it's so funny because, I mean, my niece Taylor, you know, and my family, you know, they don't like the way that I say things because I'm very, I guess they think I'm very abrasive, but I don't think I'm abrasive. I just say it like it is. I tell it like it is, and if you don't, you know, it is what it is. You can't sugarcoat it, you know? And so I'm learning, you know, your delivery, you have to, I'm like, I'm not going to change the way that I am just because you get they don't like the way I say something. Like when I'm talking about, you know, my mom calls me about the war or whatever. I'm like, don't you understand? Blah, you know, and like that you know, our countries are basically what's happening is we're funding both sides of this war. I mean, do people even understand that? I mean, it's ridiculous. Biden gave Iran $6 billion, gave Israel money, and we're funding it. I mean, you know, so what else can I say about that other than to say they've been doing that for years and years and years and years. If you go back in history, all the way back to even World War I, I mean, even back then, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. All you have to do is, like, if you really want to delve into it, you just delve into history, and history repeats itself, you know, and that's where we're at right now. And so, you know, I guess the key to this whole thing basically is just changing your mind, getting your mindset, wrapping your head around it, wrapping your head around where we are right now, and focusing on the next adventure, because everything is about to change. Everything, like the way we live, is about to change. I think there's going to be, it's sort of like the new Renaissance period, because in the 1500s, it was the first Renaissance, right? Lots of artists and writers and actors, and the creative kind of sparked, and we've kind of been stagnant. And especially with this AI stuff coming forward, which is just all computer stuff, that doesn't come from God. That's not a godly thing. To be creative is a godly gift. And I think we're moving forward once we get past this. So it's just a matter of staying grounded and staying where you need to be, you know, during this time frame. And, you know, that's kind of where I think, you know, we're trying to, like, I think, teach people in a sense of, you know, how to just stay calm in the chaos. And I think that's basically it, you know. Do you guys have, we're about, let's see, we got about 15 minutes left or so. I wanted to maybe pull some cards for the week, a couple of weeks coming up. Do you guys want to do that? Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So Delphine, you want to pull cards for let's just do for what, the rest of this week? What's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
I know. Can you believe it's November? I still can't believe it's November.
The summer flew by, actually.
It did. Like, I know.
It was crazy. I think just because I was so busy, and I mean, we all were busy. You were moving, Sarah, and we just have all been very busy all summer, and then all of a sudden it's like September. I was like, oh my gosh, it's September already, and then it's already November. I'm like, what happened to October? It just kind of skipped over in my mind, I think, kind of. I don't know.
So, Sarah, before I pull cards, how did you feel? I'm sure when you moved, you got rid of a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage. Yeah. How did that affect you spiritually?
I feel so much lighter here. And also, I live so close to the water.
Yes.
So, I feel so much lighter and more energized.
Doesn't it?
Here.
I live near the water too. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
At the other place, well, first of all, without going into too much detail, the neighborhood I lived in, there was a lot of dark energy there. There was some people who were doing some very dark things. In this neighborhood, that's why we picked it, because I feel that people have the best of intentions in general. I just feel safer here. But there was just a very dark cloud over that community, because who employs most of the people who live in that community is Pfizer.
Oh boy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you need to say no more. That just paints the picture we need.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There was a lot of bad energy there. Oh yeah.
Well, it's like,
I'm so glad you're out of that, honey. And being near the water, you being psychic, you're gonna love it. I can't not be in the water. When I lived in Vegas for 5 years, I was miserable. I didn't like the energy there because it was crazy and demonic and disgusting, and I couldn't take the energy in California. I know, no offense. Well, our soul brother Jason lives in California. I couldn't do California, and a lot of my clients from California is beautiful. It's just that I could feel the energy of the demonic energy of LA there big time. And New York City, I could never live in New York City. That energy was so heavy. And now I know why.
Well, they're heavily Democrat states. I mean, here, like where I'm at, I'm, you know, by the water, the Washington coast, and it's gorgeous out here. I feel very light, you know, and I can look out my kitchen window and see the water, you know, go down the beach, whatever. And I just can't stand when I have to go into Seattle. It is the most oppressive feeling. I can't even describe it to you. I start getting like even a little anxiety, I want to say, when I'm driving. Like I hit Olympia, which is about an hour and a half from me, and I'm just like, oh my God, you just feel it.
It's raining.
Yes, and I'm very drained when I'm there. And then I notice when I come home, the minute I hit my county line, it's like it just lifts off me.
Yeah.
It's amazing the difference. Like you wouldn't think that it would be that way, but it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, spiritual warfare, because the people agree to it. They're living under a spell. That's
totally.
Yep.
This is the worst. I mean, I can't even. I mean, don't even get me started. I won't even go down my tangent because it's just. We'll be here another hour if that's the case. So, what do you say, Delphine? What did you pull for us today?
Okay, so I'm getting that we're almost there, and I am getting that, yes, we're definitely changing timelines, big time. We're going in between. I feel that us that are ascending, we're going through our personal, I feel like we're starting to do the personal ascensions big time since that timeline shift, which I agree, that was a horrible last weekend. I woke up Sunday vile, and I was in bed the whole day. The only way I can describe how I felt was vile. And I haven't felt that way in a long time. So I agree. So right now we're going in between dimensions. I feel like people are trying to juggle energy. I feel that people that aren't really surrendering and are still holding on to that 3D thing, they're finding it hard. And I feel that that's the thing. It's really, you have to let go. You can't hold on to things. Clear out your closets. So I feel that if you can let go, if you can move on, it will be a better balance. But right now, people are trying to balance not only their energy, they're trying to balance their lives. And sometimes you just have to let things go. Just let things go. Let go and let God is what I'm getting. But also, it's just the timelines are collapsing, and we're so in between 5D and 4D that I feel that the exhaustion is just, I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted.
Very exhausted.
So I feel that people are going to it's going to be a hard week for mental and physical health because of the fact our 3D bodies are going in between or 4D, sorry, whatever. These human bodies are going through the dimensions. Yes. And it's affecting us big time. All right. I do think that people are going to be walking away from situations. I do think we're going to be hearing about the banks, more banks. Yeah. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of people that have just leave situations. They're going to just turn their backs on things that no longer serve them. I feel that people are just going to finally just like, enough's enough. I'm not going to deal with it anymore. So walking away from things that do not serve us. I do think there's going to be a lot of stress and anxiety about what's going to happen with the money. People trying to get their money out. Rumor has it that Citizen Bank is going down, and a lot of people aren't allowed to get their money from certain big banks. So I feel there is going to be a lot of stress with material matters and what's going on, and just inflation. I mean, I went shopping today. I got toilet paper and Coca-Cola, Mexican Cokes, and it was almost $30. It's like,
that's insane.
I paid $20 for paper to wipe my ass. Not to be so crude, but seriously. It's ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
The king size pack.
I did. I got the king size pack, and of course my husband has to get the bounty. No, what is it? The extra strong. And I'm like, it's whatever, it's like you're wiping your bum, but some people have to have what they have to have. So anyway, it was just crazy. So anyway, we're going to definitely feel the struggles this week of all what's going on. I feel there's going to be military action behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. Yes. I have to corroborate with what Sarah's been saying about November 13th, and this is leading up to it. I feel we're going to see lots of military. I feel like people are going to be like, oh, I saw this. I'm seeing military. I just think that people are going to see more military around because they're gearing up. They're gearing up because something big's happening this month, okay? Because we're getting our justice.
Oh, finally. Hallelujah, man.
We're going to get our justice. I feel that we're going to start to see the justice with the money, with disclosure, with elections, with everything. We're going to get some justice. We're starting to. And I feel one of the big things that's happening now is with finally they're coming clean about the election frauds and stuff. So I think it's going to start, all that stuff is starting to come out in the open now. I hear they're actually saying it on lamestream media now. So that's when you know that maybe the alliance is starting to get the media back Because if they're saying bad stuff about Biden on CNN and on MSNBC, so maybe they're starting to get back the media.
Well, I can tell you this: my neighbor, my next door neighbor, she is she tells me she wants to just be taken care of by a king and queen, as if she would be like at the court, in the court, the king of the court or whatever. Anyway, and she can't stand Trump, just totally hate. I'm telling you, I talked to her the other day and I'm like, can you even believe what's going on? Just to kind of get an idea of how she's like, I know, we need a new election. We need a new regime. We need a new president in there. I was in shock because she voted for Biden. Mm-hmm. So that's huge progress. She has CNN on 24/7. Mm-hmm. So it's changing the mindset. It's very strategic, I think. And I heard that one of Trump's friends actually had bought CNN and they fired like the CEO of that. There was like a whole shakeup, and that was I want to say I heard that maybe like 5 months ago, maybe. And so seeping in slowly, they've been slowly seeping in the truth. And so it's very interesting how that's all, going down. So, yeah. So Sarah, do you want to pull some cards? What kind of cards are you pulling? Tarot, Oracle, or what?
I have some tarot. I have my Oceanic Tarot since it's Scorpio season, and Delphine's a Pisces, so we have to do some homage. I don't have Libra cards. Sorry, Chrissy.
That's all right. Libras are just left out. No, just kidding. Sorry.
You guys are the scales of justice. You guys are the balancing force of the universe. So
yes. Let me tell you, if something is out of whack or there's injustice, my mouth goes. That's all I'm saying. My mom said I should have been a lawyer, but
that's Libra.
No, thank you. I don't want to be in that mess.
My sister is a paralegal and she's a Libra.
See, well, that's why I was an investigator, because I like to do the behind the scenes stuff, help the attorney, but I don't want to be the mouthpiece. I want to be the puppeteer. The puppeteer behind the puppet. Just kidding.
Got it. All right, let's take a look and see what this new moon is going to bring. I think that's
okay. Yeah, that would be great.
All right. What is the new moon going to bring? Let's see. Project the space. Okay. Ooh, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Ooh, a pop out. Good.
And the other one popped out.
Wow.
Okay. I like this. I had this download earlier today too.
Ooh, interesting.
Okay. That's interesting. All right, and that's the advice card. Okay. So the overall energy of this new moon is the Lovers card. And I got this download that with Venus going into Libra, a lot of people are going to be seeking out their divine counterpart. And as we collapse, as this whole 3D collapses, then people are going to start meeting their divine counterpart, because they're going to be in a different, higher timeline, higher resonance. So this is a beautiful, beautiful energy. And I feel like Spirit's showing us these messages because we did talk about a lot of negative stuff, but we have to be realistic. We can't sugarcoat on this show. We're not about that. Just like
exactly.
We're going to tell the truth no matter what, even if it's nice. But we're going to tell the truth. But Six of Wands right here as the challenge card, I think, it's going to be difficult for so many people to be in this type of energy, to be in that oneness with their person, oneness with God. Just because when you're in oneness with God, that's when you are in that oneness with your divine counterpart, even if you're not in physical union. Okay. But this right here, I think a lot of people are going to have trouble thinking about the victory that where we are on our journey, that we're witnessing so much. We're in like biblical times. It's freaking amazing. So I think a lot of people are going to have difficulty with that. But with this Eight of Swords here as the advice card, it's saying that we're not really in a horrible time at all. It's just a trap. We're just trapping ourselves. That's all it is. Because that's what Eight of Swords is. It's like you're in an illusion that you're trapped, but you're not. You can definitely move on. It's all about your mindset. So if you are in a positive mindset, if you are in a can-do mindset versus, swirling the toilet of CNN and Fox News and whoever else, you're going to be okay. The outcome is going to be this. And this is what we all want. This is what we all exist for, right? Is that divine love, that special someone that we were incarnated here to raise the vibrations of this earthly plane and spiritually too. So that's beautiful. Yay. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. That was great.
I love that reading. I love it. That was thick.
Me too. And I think the whole key to this, and we'll wrap it up, is just that, we want to raise your vibration. You have to let go of all the crap in the past. And I think that's basically what we've been saying during this show. And we also, you have to look within, because we are very powerful beings, and they've smashed us down, and they're trying to keep us down. But as a collective, that's why it's so important, these divisional things that they keep throwing at us, dividing under, race, religion, just everything. We just have to not buy into it, and, just stand strong as the warrior that we are, because we're all warriors. And, all of us can put the armor of God on and move forward. And I think honestly, I'm not scared. I'm not worried. I'm just, I just want to get this over with. I just want to get
the Band-Aid. Just want to rip it off.
I just want to rip the Band-Aid already. I keep saying that to my other friend. Like, can't we just rip the Band-Aid off? I'm so, that's my big frustration. I just want it done. But, we have to go through it, and it is, like I said before, it is what it is. And I just think that moving forward, I think we have a great soul family here, and I think we all just need to raise each other up. I do want to do a quick shout out to Ocean Odell. I had an amazing conversation with him 5-hour conversation last night.
Wow.
I know. But it didn't seem like it was that long, because we were just talking about so many different things, and he wants to come on the show, so I will have Ocean Odell on at some point. But it was amazing, because we see eye to eye on a lot of things, and then we differ on some things, but you know what, it's all about love. And that's what the vibration is, really. We need to just keep that in our hearts, keep that in our minds, and let's just move forward. And that's it for today, I guess. I think we're done. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Do you want to do one last thing, Delphine? Do you have anything, parting words that you want to impart on the Soul Tribe?
Yes, we're already there. We are already our 5D selves. We can't get it wrong. We can't mess this up. We're there. We are so there. This is the time that we have waited for. Okay, so equate this. Do you remember when you were waiting for school vacation, and the very last day before school vacation was the longest fucking day of the year? It's we're right there. This is the hardest part. We're there, though. We're there. So just breathe. We can get through this. If you're going through tough times, it's just knowing that it doesn't take the suck out of it. Trust me, we've been there. Okay, we're not up here saying, "Oh, everything's great." We go through these horrible times. We feel what you all feel, but knowing that it's temporary, that you're almost done, it makes it easier to get through it, right? The last leg of the race is the hardest. That's where people fall and tumble or give up. Don't do that. We're right there. We're there. So just know that it's only temporary. We'll get through it. Just whenever you feel yourself fall, just think about how phenomenal this is. This is beyond our wildest dreams. We're going to be living in beyond a science fiction movie. Our human brains can't even conceive how phenomenal our reality is going to be. So we got it, and we can do this. Just keep your eye on the prize. That's all I have to say.
That's fantastic. What about you, Sarah? What's your parting words?
Well, I just second everything Delphine said. That was such a good analogy. I love that. Just Stay positive and also remember your own power. Okay. Remember that you have amazing gifts from God, and don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't second guess yourself. Keep on empowering yourself, and you can do anything you put your mind to if you're co-creating with God.
Yep, exactly. And on that note, I guess we'll end that there. That was beautiful. So thank you, Soul Sisters, for joining me for this November Power Hour. And I hope that everybody enjoyed the show. And we'll be back. So Thursday, I'm going to premiere. Delphine and I chatted with Gypsy Mama. So we'll be doing that 8 p.m. Eastern time. It was fabulous. And then, of course, I'll see you guys in chat on Friday for Light Warrior Network.
Sounds good.
I'll be watching.
All right. Well, bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you later, Soul Tribe. Love you. We're out of here, people. If I can get the thing to end.
Sarah's gone.
I'm trying to end